broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello and welcome to the Law & Order SVU AfterBuzz After Show here on AfterBuzz. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. If you have not already, go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, hit subscribe. Also, join us live in the chat roll, 6 p.m. every week. You can also tweet along with me at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Use the hashtag ABTVSVU, all the letters. Let me introduce my wonderful co-hosts. Isabelle is here.
Hey guys, I've missed you guys, so you guys can check me out everywhere. Isabelle Du, ISABELLE, last name DU. That was my first time spelling it out, so you guys can find me everywhere, and I'm gonna log into the chat roll so you guys can chat with us.
Yeah, Jesse Janedy.
Boom! Y'all can hit me up everywhere at DJ Jesse J.
Awesome. We're jumping into season 17, episode 13, 41 Witnesses. Oh, so good.
Love it. Tingles.
Yeah, it feels so good. So good.
So good.
Okay.
SVU, we get really upset when you leave us a week off.
Yeah, seriously.
Like,
oh, I wanted to die.
It really affects my week.
Yeah.
It was the longest week last week.
Absolutely. So let's, you know what, you're right. Let's start with Rollins. I was going to put her later.
Wait, so can I just start with this, though? Now, Yael, I can't watch this show the same way. So I'm watching the episode, Rollins has her baby, and I'm like, every week we're going to see this. Like, there was no point for that.
It's just on alternate between
I would never
babies.
have thought that, though, until Yael has poisoned my brain now with this baby fever, and I'm just...
Yeah, it's hard not to avoid that now.
Yeah, okay, so we have Rollins and her baby, whatever. The thing I wanted to talk about Rollins and the baby was that, so do we forget that Rollins is a gambling addict?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I felt it was pretty obvious when she made that little dig to the mom.
Yeah. Oh, so angry. So Rollins making this dig about Libby, like, she has kids. You don't get to be an addict when you have kids. I was like, Rollins, sure, this is just you going, hey, guess what, audience? I'm gonna slip up.
Right.
I mean, or is it a way for them to kind of be like, oh, look, she's not gonna slip up anymore?
Yeah.
But I do wonder that because...
Kind of wipe it away.
Here's why I say that.
Hold that thought, because you know what we did?
What?
We forgot to warn everyone and give them the hotline.
Oh my gosh.
And we're talking so much smack that we really need to. Okay. Guys, sorry, real quick. Yeah, this show is serious. The topics are serious. Addiction, rape, assault, all of that. Very serious topics. Therefore, we make jokes because we can't handle the truth. So
this is just one of the ways we cope with situations. And
so
we know.
Here's a hotline for people who need it. Go.
Yeah. So if you guys deal with any situations that are a little too real to life, close to the things that you see on SVU, then you guys can contact the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network at 1-800-656 HOPE. Again, that's 1-800-656-4673.
Thank you. All right, back into Rollins and her baby. Go.
I forgot what I was saying. I'm like, well, wait, I can talk to somebody. Like,
yeah. Well, we make.
Okay, so to kind of step off of your comment with that, I do wonder that because my question is, obviously we know SVU got renewed for another season.
I was gonna announce that in the news.
Sorry, but with that, I always question. I'm just so scared. Like, I always get scared with certain shows. Like, what if Olivia wants to walk away from this and she's not on the show anymore, right? Who would they continue the show? And if they were to continue the show, I always think, like, who would they put in certain places? I don't think that they can do that.
I agree.
I think they just stop it. You know? But I've always wondered if they're going to take her and try to clean her up a little bit, and I do wonder if that's
grooming her to be the next Benson?
Maybe, or in training almost, or raise her character stance, because the way that they did the baby situation, how it was so rushed, I'm wondering if maybe that comment is also another rushed situation for her. I could be reading too deeply into it. But I'm just so scared
I think that
of what could happen without her.
if they were to do something like if Mariska decided, I'm going to leave SVU, first of all, everyone's going to go in a flying rage.
Yes.
But then we will have to come to accept it. And I hate to say it, but I don't know how long they would actually really last.
So
after
we
that.
will discuss this when we get to news and gossip, because I have a lot to say about it. But we need to talk about today's episode. And so we'll talk about it then. Unfortunately, guys, we can't be in the chat today, and I apologize. We're not in the chat. I'm sorry for everyone in the comments.
Sorry.
We apologize. We're sorry. Okay, so Libby is our victim. We have 3 youths. Did they not look 12 to you guys?
The last kid. That last kid looked 12.
The little one was like 10, and then the African American kid looked 14.
Yeah, 15, definitely.
Really young.
No, actually, I don't know if I could see him driving. I don't know if I could see him driving.
Yeah, no, he seemed real young to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought the other 2 looked like they could have been 17, 18, but that other kid looked young.
Yeah. Anyway, so she's scoring drugs in the drug cafe. Let's talk about the drug cafe, right?
Yeah.
It's this cafe. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, what a weird situation that there's this cafe.
Is this Amsterdam?
Right, it was so weird. But then I realized when Carisi was leaving, everyone there was on their computer studying. So it's probably like an uppers cafe, right? Like it's where they get to study
Sure.
aids.
I can see it. Like
It's
Ritalin,
like Ritalin and shit.
Adderall.
Sorry. All of that.
Fun times.
Yeah, so that's where my head went with the drug, because I was like, what is this drug cafe?
Right. You know what? I can see that now, because I was like, well, why would they have the same people there from last night to this morning? But then the girl was from Fordham.
Right.
Therefore, I guess.
is that the law school that Carisi goes to night school at?
Yeah.
Is she studying to be a lawyer like he is? Because he's going to be a lawyer?
Yeah, he's studying law. Did you guys know
Did you guys know that Carisi's studying law?
He's like kind of interning under Barba.
Yeah, he wants to learn the law. So annoying.
Did you not hear that for the last episode, for every episode before that?
Well, they really want you guys to understand this.
Yeah.
Understand what? That Carisi's studying law?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, so we're chasing down these 3 kids. Once they catch the kids, Carisi yelling at the bystanders. I'm skipping ahead to the story. When Carisi is
I'm in the chat room.
oh great.
Sorry.
Oh, nice.
But they actually think that her saying that was foreshadowing for Liv.
What, the addiction thing?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to Liv.
Okay.
We'll get to
Oh,
Liv.
interesting.
I have notes on that.
That's actually a very good point, guys.
Yeah. So
Thanks for pulling that up.
oh yeah, thank you. Okay, so Carisi yelling at the people once they caught the 2 guys, like, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for all your help. I was like, this has to come back and bite them,
Yeah.
and it
I thought the
didn't.
same
Nope.
thing. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, it actually reminded me of last week's episode of Shades of Blue. Something not really, but sort of similar. Not to bring it
dare
up. I'm
you bring up
sorry.
Shades of
Blasphemous.
Blue.
But I'm just saying they kind of did the same thing with a rally of people, but they turned on them.
Yeah.
And so I kind of did think in that moment I was almost like, and especially with all the racial tensions going
Yeah.
on right now, I
Sure.
thought that they would have brought it to that point.
Yeah.
But it would have been too cliche. I feel like they've already done that in the past, that there wasn't enough time in this episode to include a part of like where there's a backlash against
Yeah.
Carisi for this whole talking to the phone thing. I think it was just an emphasis of the fact that that's a very realistic situation these days, where you see people being bystanders with their phones recording it, and they don't do squiggly dot about.
Or I looked at it
squat?
as they would promote that. They would promote that. Look at what the cop said to us. Look at this.
Yeah.
Versus, oh, this girl was raped outside.
Exactly.
Right.
It's actually, instead of physically
Right.
helping her.
Yeah.
Or them.
So let's talk about the 41 witnesses that we got. So for those who didn't recognize Patrick Breen from Galaxy Quest,
Oh my god.
he played Doug. I was like, he's an alien. I can't remember where he was an alien, but he was definitely an alien. And when we met him with his dog, and I was at the bar with my boyfriend, all I could think was like, you are too big of a guest star to be just that. He's not a big guest
guy with
star,
the boyfriend.
but he's too big of a guest
to
star.
have an under 5.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
No.
And then Alice Beasley was the I don't know how to describe it. She's got a very weird looking face.
Oh, the one she kept
Yeah.
The neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the neighbor with the weird-looking face, the woman with the weird-looking face, is played by Alice Beasley, and she was from Moonlighting, that Bruce Willis old back in the day. No,
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I would not know.
She just has a very specific.
The
face.
one that was like, well, which one is it? Tell me which one. I should
Yeah.
pick. Okay.
That one with the face, and then you notice she has a special face,
Okay.
and I mean that with so much love. And then you would notice the couple.
Yes,
neighbors.
I thought it was interesting that they had an Asian guy with a black girl as a couple because, first of all, that's very rare, and second of all, to even have that featured on TV.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? That's not true. I've seen it once. Well, it still makes it a rarity.
On what show?
I forgot what show, but it was John Cho and Gabrielle.
Union?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they were a couple on, I forgot what show it was, but
Interesting.
yeah.
I liked it too, and I also liked the class of people that they made them. Like they seemed like they had a little more, like they were kind of like, oh, we're on our way out to dinner.
We're poshy. We're yuppies.
I really like, first off, interracial couples should totally be featured on shows.
Yeah.
But like, this is not something you usually see.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because I think it defies a lot of stereotypes.
Yeah.
Selfie.
Selfie?
Selfie?
Gabrielle Union was not on Selfie.
John Cho was.
Yes,
John Cho was,
I'm
but it was
aware.
a different show where they were a couple.
Yeah, he dates only white girls on that show. I know my Selfie. It's got Karen Gillan from
I don't think I've ever
Doctor
seen
Who.
John Cho with an Asian girl on TV. Oh. Which I don't mind. I like that. I like that a lot.
Anyway, it's just something that needed to be acknowledged because it was well done and well portrayed.
Yeah.
And then our other guest, returning guest, is David Diggs, who played Counselor Henderson, who was the younger kid's lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He, okay, so when he came out and gave Barbara the offer, so first off, sorry, who is he? He's in the musical Hamilton. He's a Broadway star.
That's it? Because he looked really familiar. I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
he's also been in a few other things. You can look him up. David, Daveed. Love it. David Diggs, like Tay Diggs, but not.
But I felt like, I don't mean to I don't know, is that
I also felt his personality was very,
casual?
yeah, like
Very-
he hangs
yeah.
around a lot of kids. Like
Yeah.
he maybe new to this. Like so.
Yeah. I think he's supposed to be this, new generation of lawyer, this, of the people kind of.
I kind of like it, to
Yes.
be really honest, because it goes with the whole black girl, Asian guy couple because it's so new and you don't see it. And then I like the idea that they're pushing these new types, archetypes, or new visions of these characters because
Yeah.
you just don't really see, we keep on seeing these same old.
It was a different kind of challenge for Barbara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made him squirm a little bit.
Yeah. What did you think of the offer that Counselor Henderson gave to Barbara? The offer that his client would testify that he was there, but he didn't participate.
I'm surprised that they didn't take it
Yeah.
because it was very presumptuous of Barbara to not kind of explore the idea that that little kid, who clearly was a little kid,
Right.
was clearly just a bystander. When
Yeah.
we're talking about this whole bystander motif throughout the entire thing, I'm like, why wouldn't you explore the fact that he could have possibly been a bystander himself to this whole thing? He should have taken it. And I was surprised that they didn't even go through the fact that this kid is now going to prison,
Yeah.
or I don't know where he's
Right.
going to.
I kind of see both sides of it because I look at it like that. Okay, now you're going to get a testimony since 41 people won't confess. You know,
Right.
you got someone who's going to say something.
Yeah.
You even said when you stopped questioning him, he seems weak. He's crying. He's weak. I don't think he could have. They even
Yeah.
said that.
Right.
So for me, it's like, take that. But at the same time, how many cases have they gone into where it's like they want to be thorough with everything, and maybe they honestly did believe that the three of these kids together had something to do with it.
I just felt like it wasn't consistent with past cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It just wasn't. It was kind of odd. Like, he just kind of brushed it off. I'm like, wait, you normally wouldn't have done that. You would have taken up every single angle.
It seemed
Yeah.
more personal, actually. I felt like it was, this young guy's coming in here.
Yeah.
Because it was just different for Barbara.
It was, and it also, at that point, the case was, there was no case.
Yeah.
It was hinging on Maria. So let's talk about Maria, She's the woman who saw them, who called 911, and I got so angry at Baby Dodds this episode.
What part?
Okay, so Baby Dodds, you were with me. He brings Olivia the phone records from the boys, and he's like, this one had 2 phones, but the memory was wiped. But then we got, Tara said that he called 911. And Olivia has to spell it out for him. He's not going to call 911 on himself. Mm-hmm. You can call the other numbers and see whose phone this is. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's all these Hispanic women's names. What? What kind of detective are you?
Him and Finn. Same boat.
Oh, and there was no Finn in this one.
No, he offered to drive Rollins home at the end.
That's right. Oh my god.
That's where he was.
That's right.
That's where he was.
Yeah, he was her driver. Anyway, Dodds, I was like, Dodds, you are not. Here's the thing. Dodds is not cutting it.
I feel like he's fading into the background these days.
And if you saw the poster for the announcement for season 18, Dodds isn't in it.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Too
Dodds
much
wasn't in it.
tea.
Okay, guys.
I wonder why.
Because
I guess we'll see at the end of the season.
All right. Last things to talk about. Doug and his eidetic memory. Drunk Doug on the stand. I called a lawyer. You were with me. Before the show, I called a lawyer.
Really?
She had one on speed. I was like, interesting. I was like, what kind of trouble have you been in?
I called a lawyer. It's not legal to testify drunk.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, those 3 kids now are able to get their conviction appealed.
Because he was drunk.
Because he was
Oh.
drunk. You just let him walk.
I also looked at that whole testimony okay, you had him turn his head and just name the jury. But I'm like, that could have been taught to him.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. So it was almost like, wait, it was mind-blowing watching it because I'm like, this just turned into Peter Pan. This isn't real. What is happening in the courtroom?
The jury lost their ish at that moment. They were like, what?
Magic, everybody.
Or once that
Magic.
happened, I was like, oh, these kids are getting off. I really thought, especially after last week where he only got the third degree assault, right? Mm-hmm. And that kind of shocked me. So I was like, when they put that guy up there and the way he did that, I was like, okay, they could either look at this this is really amazing. Mm-hmm. Who's buying that though?
Yeah.
Or go the opposite way, but they bought it.
I thought it was creative how the writers put that in because it made me question so that can be done? Huh.
So I
do not show up to court drunk, y'all.
Few things to know. Eidetic memories, for those who are wondering, is the ability to recall images, sounds, or objects after only a few instances of exposure, which is really an interesting... sounds, you're welcome. It's images, sounds, or objects, because that's usually it's you hear photographic memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he remembered the questions which he didn't see. And so, it's one interesting ability.
Yeah.
I wish I had it.
Well, the thing about eidetic memory is also, yes, it can be photographic, but also sound, like you said. And usually people, on average, statistically, are usually geniuses who have...
Huh.
And thus I don't have it. Thank you, Marissa in the booth. Now hit the more you know. No? Okay.
No.
There it is. Thanks.
Dun, dun.
Okay.
Interesting.
Before we move on to the story that this is based on, let's talk real quick about Benson on the phone.
Oh my gosh, who was she talking to? I was waiting for I miss you.
I was waiting for them to show us the number, the name.
Oh, I thought it was going to be, or I thought they would pan over to who was on the other line. But who did you think it was?
Who did you think it was?
Honestly, I don't think it's anyone that we know.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something. I totally agree with the fans.
Yeah.
I think we are about to go on a whole nother ride with Liv. We have to.
I was hoping.
Sorry.
I know. Go. I'm
excited.
sorry. I know.
So
I got
excited.
So excited.
I was hoping that it could have been Tucker.
Yeah, I knew that's who you guys.
That based on the conversation, it did feel like it was just a random conversation. That
It's not random. It's going to be something deep that we're going to be
Okay.
like, what?
My votes are it's either Tucker so at first I was like, oh, it's Tucker. We're going to see her phone. It's Tucker. And then they showed us the preview for next week, and I went, it's Vaughn or Voight or whatever his name is, the detective or the captain or the sergeant, whatever his name is, from Chicago.
Oh, smart one.
Interesting how you connected that.
Because I like them as a couple. All right. Before we move on, again, to the story that this is based on, which Isabel's going to tell us all about.
Yes.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who's live in the chat. Jesse is trying his best to moderate. He's not used to it, guys.
No, sorry.
This is why we need Lauren here. But thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you to everyone on iTunes. If you write us a review on iTunes, not today because I forgot, but next week, we will read the review live on the air. That's right, you get a shout out. So if you like us, go to iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating. That's right, 5 stars if you like us. 4 stars if you don't, and the other stars, they do not work.
Never have, never will.
Nope. So write a comment, bang on the keys, and we'll read it live on the air when Lauren is back, because she always gets that for me.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about the case that this is. Oh, Benson's drinking problem. Real quick, let's touch on this.
Yeah.
Does no one remember that her mother was a drunk?
You know what's funny? When you mentioned that, I actually don't remember that.
What? Her mother was an alcoholic. We knew that from episode 1, season 1. We knew that her mother was raped. She was the product of rape, and her mother was a drunk. And then her mother was killed early on in the series. She fell down. Cragen says to her she fell down the subway stairs at this subway station, and Benson goes, "My mother never takes the subway," and he goes, "It was this bar."
She has eidetic
memory.
She has SVU memory.
I have just SVU memory, guys. Yeah, Benson says my mother would never take the subway, and then he says it was this bar. So Benson's mother died. She was an alcoholic.
So you're saying that she has a streak for possible alcoholism,
So post-traumatic stress kind of situation.
Maybe. I mean, we got to deal with the fact that she was just kidnapped the week before.
3 weeks ago. Yeah.
I want to
not
give
last week. The last episode, the week before that.
I want to give her a break.
And then last season was like 50 Shades of like
crazy. And then Rollins' whole, you're right, good point with everyone in the chat roll, that Rollins saying this addiction, you have a kid now, you can't, blah, blah, blah. Good calls, guys. Because we have been talking about how they're bringing up Rollins to be the new. Anyway, let's talk about the story this is based on.
Yes. So actually, instantly, as soon as I was watching this episode and we were talking about, like, within the first 5 minutes, I was like, I know exactly what this is about. It's about Kitty Genovese right away, because I actually studied this in college psychology. So I was like, ooh, okay, all right. Something came up from my college curriculum, and it's useful.
This is what college is.
This
worth. It's worth the money now.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm like, yay.
you can relate to SVU.
Yeah.
Yay. So they were talking. So this happened in 1964, where Kitty was coming home from work. She was going back to her apartment, and she was assaulted by this guy. I forgot what his name was, but by this guy who, his name is Mosley. So Mosley assaults her, stabs her twice in the back.
Oh my God. As
she yells out, she's like, I've been stabbed, somebody please help me. And her apartment building, there were people who heard her. There was, so the episode was called 41 Witnesses. Actually in here it says 38. Mm-hmm. So the 38 neighbors there heard her cries. Nobody did anything except for one guy. He did shout out of the window saying, like, leave her alone, which scared the guy. So it scared Mosley, so he ran out while she is left staggering. She's walking to, like, the back door of the apartment building. And again, no one, like, despite the fact that she had said that she was stabbed and she, like, was yelling, people heard, nobody did anything. So Mosley had driven around and saw that she was still, like, on her own. So he came back to finish the job. So he killed her and he raped her. He's apparently a necrophiliac.
Wow.
Yeah, so apparently so he was raping her while she was dying. And then...
Jesse.
That is a lot.
I
I'm
know.
just like imagining, like, and I'm picturing it like snowing outside too. Like,
yeah.
I don't even want to watch this back because that was like really vivid right there.
Yeah, I imagine snow too. I don't know if it actually happened in December or anything like that. But
it was March.
It was March. It could have been snow, yeah.
And it was where again?
This is in
Queens.
New York.
Oh,
Queens, New
York.
Definitely cold.
Yeah, so she she died. So a much more gruesome ending than to the hypothermia.
Yeah.
Hypothermic Libby, who was completely oblivious to everything. But when they were interviewing the neighbors, they all said the same thing because they were asking, like, why didn't you do anything? They're like, oh, we just figured somebody else in the apartment building would do something. So therefore, they had coined the name the Genovese syndrome, aka the bystander effect, which is where a bunch of people assume that somebody else, because it's such a big group of people, they'll assume somebody else will do something about it. It's this disbursement of responsibility.
So I have the bystander effect is a social psychological phenomenon that refers to cases in which individuals do not offer any means of help to the victim when other people are present. The probability of help is inversely related to the number of bystanders, which Olivia points out, that the number of people, the less likely they're going to help. In other words, greater number of bystanders, less likely anyone will do anything. Several variables help explain why the bystander effect occurs. Ambiguity, cohesiveness, and diffusion of responsibility. Fascinating. I have another example of the bystander effect.
Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah. It was 1998, the internet era. Also in March. Guys, March is a terrible time.
I know. Let's avoid March around public areas.
Larry Froisted posted a message in a chat room. Remember chat rooms? That was used as a support group for people battling alcoholism. In his message, he confessed to purposefully getting drunk. Oh, no. Getting drunk, not purposefully, I apologize, and setting his house on fire, thus killing his daughter. More than 200 people were online to see the message. Many were outraged, but some came to his defense and claimed that he was experiencing a fantasy driven by guilt over his divorce. After a debate, 3 people out of the 200 plus reported the incident to the authorities.
Oh my gosh.
And then, like 5 days later, he confessed to the murder.
So it did.
3 out of 200 plus people.
I will say this, not that I'm trying to defend him or anything like that, but when it comes to the internet's a weird place.
It was 98. We didn't know that then.
Yeah, that's a very extreme form of bystander effect because, when it comes, like, think about trolling and the things people say, you're just kind of like, I don't know if I'm supposed to take you seriously because I don't see your face. I don't know.
So there are multiple episodes of SVU that deal with people posting online that they're going to assault someone or they have assaulted someone, and then it's reported to the police and the police come and get them.
It just actually happened with Beyonce, and her mother reported someone on Instagram, and they actually want to continue and follow through with reprimanding this person.
I mean, they absolutely should because,
like they vividly described how they were going to get Beyonce.
Girl, it's Beyonce.
Right.
I know, seriously.
So with the bystander effect, so this is something that you can use in court to remember when they said 30 something people talked, so what, you got one good witness or whatever it was, you got one good witness. That's going to go against you that the 40 people won't speak. And I'm just like, well, this is something that is known, and it makes sense that if someone sees something violent and they weren't a part of it, yes, morally it's wrong to not say something. But when you start to take into account, especially in 2016, okay, well, now this person's probably thinking, am I going to have to get a lawyer? Am I going to have to?
It's true.
It's like a whole process. And I felt like that's what the Asian guy, he was saying, like, we don't want to deal with this.
We don't want to get involved.
And not only that, but then it's like, okay, well, what if we do get involved? These kids get off. Now they know where we live. They know this building. And that's what her friend was saying. And I can see that side of it. And so it's almost like the way that the police were speaking to them, I felt like it's like you get more bees with honey, you know? And I get it, they're frustrated, but it's like you have to put yourself in these people's positions, and they're scared witnesses, and, you need something from them. They don't need anything from you.
So I like that you touch on that because something else I want to bring up is the whole Good Samaritan law. And a lot of people are afraid to step up, especially these days. It's easier for them to be at a distance and film the situation rather than stepping in. And I'll be honest, there are times when I think I might endanger myself, right? You have to kind of like scan the situation, like, should I be involved? And there are times when people are held liable despite being the Good Samaritan. So I have several cases where, for example, in Florida, there was this lifeguard, and this is like in 2012, this lifeguard, there's a perimeter that I guess they are in charge of, but somebody had ran up to him and was like, oh my gosh, somebody's drowning over in this section of the ocean. And that's not his section, but being a lifeguard, he obviously is going to save lives. So, foregoing this whole, even though this is only my section, he went and saved that person. And then his company, the company that, it hired all the lifeguards, fired him because he went against protocol for saving somebody outside of that perimeter.
Wait, what? So did he try to fight this? Like, wait a minute. You're saving a life.
I know. Because for them, it was...
So if he didn't save that person's life, he could still have been held accountable?
Not by the company, but by the family or the guy.
Probably by somebody else.
By the people there.
Yeah. So, and
how do you win?
You don't.
You don't. And
he's effed either way.
Exactly. And there was another situation where, I don't know where I read it, but they were talking about how a guy had actually drowned, he stepped into the ocean and he stood there where it's like neck deep. I think this is in up north somewhere. So his mom had called the cops, 911, everything. So fire department came out there. The cops came out there. And the cops and the fire department, they didn't go out in the ocean to try to like save this guy, right? Because they said, we don't have the certifications. We're not like, this goes against our liability. We're not trained for it. So they called the Coast Guard, right? But still nobody did anything. So the guy eventually drowned from hypothermia. But these are these are people who are
that's their job,
authorities, right? So Good Samaritans don't even go. But you hear cases. There was another one where in China, this guy helped a woman who had fallen and taken her to the hospital, paid for her hospital bill. She sued him. And guess what? She won.
For what?
$6,000. I don't even know what it was.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not.
There's a lot of people you hear when you are trained for CPR. People, they always say, some people are afraid to go and administer it because they're afraid to be sued. Because
that happens all the time. It does. All the time.
And I believe that there are laws about it. There are also laws on the books now that are if you see something you can't stand by and not do, there's like a anti-bystander law or something like that. So there are laws, check them out in your states because they're all different. But we are running out of time and I'm so sorry, guys. Because we have news that we need to tell you.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so if you haven't heard us say it a bazillion times, guys, season 18! Yeah. SVU is coming back for an 18th season. Shock. We're really excited. And if you haven't seen this in the news, okay, listen to the whole story before you get excited. So, they thought that the show, well, I don't know why they thought this, it was silly of them. They thought the show wasn't going to make it past this season, and they were preparing for a series finale. Way. And in that series finale, they were planning to bring back Stabler himself, Chris Maloney.
Wow.
Which tells us, and this is all over the news right now, that for the season finale, in like 5 years when that happens, 5 years, guys, not anytime soon, they will probably reach out to Chris and say, get your butt back here. And they even said, Mariska will just call him and he'll come.
Can we bring Amaro too while we're at it?
Please, I miss him.
I love Amaro.
Calm down. We need to bring back Munch.
Oh, yeah, Munch.
And Kragan.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Everybody.
Okay.
SVU is old enough to get a lottery ticket.
Not yet. It will be. All right, it's time for predictions. Okay.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
May I?
Predictions.
Do you mind, sir? Okay. If you didn't see the promo, go Google it because, oh my God, crossover!
So good.
All right, Yates and Rudnick.
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Yes.
2 hours because it's SVU and Chicago PD. It's not a 2-hour SVU.
I got way too excited.
Yeah. Okay, Yates and Rudnick escape from prison.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. It's a 2-hour event, crossover with Chicago PD. So we will, of course, be discussing both parts because I'm pretty sure the way they're doing it now, we have to because it means that they're going to make it through ours.
Right.
Yeah. So, predictions, aside from OMF. Go on.
I'm wondering if it's going to be, like you guys said, homeboy from Chicago PD now, and I'm wondering if we're going to get a little hand something.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm taking it there. You know what I mean? I can't imagine the
Love
case.
triangle with Tucker.
No.
Hey, it is like Valentine's Day weekend.
Ooh.
You never know.
Nice.
Slip it right in there.
Good job.
I think Benson's going to become a wino. Like, we're going to see more of that.
She's going to be like Olivia from Scandal now.
Different Olivia.
Different Olivia.
I like that.
I think it's gonna I think she's gonna ask to take time off or something to spend time with her family.
That's interesting you say that because she keeps saying, I'm good. I need to get back in here, and like that's interesting you keep saying that.
Well, okay, so based on that, then I think Dodds is going to take lead.
Ugh.
He's going to F up real bad. They're going to bring her back, and that's where Dodds disappearing to.
Everyone because everyone in the chat room is definitely with Dodds is.
Baby Dodds is out.
Snoring.
Bring
Snorefest.
back Daddy Dodds.
But I do think the new relationship is going to happen, especially after hearing you say that they thought this was going to be the last season.
Yeah.
If for another 5 years, we need to throw a wrench right on in this. So.
I think it's going to be a continuation of the episode. There's no way they can tackle Yates and
Oh no, it's going to be 2 parts. It's going to start with us and then finish in Chicago PD. That's definitely how they're going to do it. There's no way they're not.
Now, I've never seen a Law and Order Chicago PD episode. Are they the only crossover shows I've ever seen is Buffy and Angel. And when that happened, sorry, show how old I am. When that happened, it was only like 5 minutes and then it was done. Well, on these shows, they really
Now they do.
Okay,
now they figured it out. Guys,
I need 2 hours to live.
Thank you so much for everybody joining us. Thank you for talking season 17, episode 13. 41 witnesses. DJ Jesse Janedy, where can people find you online?
Everywhere, DJ Jesse J.
Awesome. And Isabelle Du.
And you guys can find me everywhere at Isabelle Du.
Awesome. You guys can find me online at yael.tv, yael.tv. Also on Twitter and Instagram at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. I'm doing a giveaway, DVDs. I'm giving away DVDs on Twitter and Instagram. Look for that in there because it's amazing. And I have a new podcast out. That's right. It's called Intimate Interrogations. You can check it out on iTunes. It is for free. Intimate Interrogations. I'm Yael Tygiel. We'll see you next week for more SVU.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Dun, dun.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.